Listen carefully, because this is not just another video you randomly clicked. Something about this moment is already different. You are not here by accident. And what you are about to hear is not motivation and not imagination. It is a confirmation of a shift that has already started in your life. As this message flows through the presence of Archangel Michael, there is something you must understand right now. You are no longer standing in the same energy you were in a few days ago. Something has already changed. Even if nothing outside looks different yet, inside your reality, the shift has already begun. And that is why everything has felt strange lately. Not fully broken, not fully healed, just in between. That in-between feeling is not confusion. It is transition. And most people miss what is happening here. Because when change happens in your life at a deep level, it does not start with results. It starts with silence. It starts with delay. It starts with endings. It starts with things disappearing without explanation. But that is not loss. That is removal. Because not everything in your life was meant to continue into your next chapter. Some things were only allowed to stay until the lesson was complete. And once the lesson is complete, the system resets. Right now, you are in that reset phase. Which means, what you called stuck is actually completion happening in the background. What you called delay is actually alignment forming. And what you called confusion is actually a transition between two versions of your life. But here is the part most people don't realize. When a shift like this happens, you cannot go back to how you used to think, because your old mindset belongs to your old timeline, and you are not there anymore. That is why certain thoughts don't feel the same anymore. Certain fears are losing power. Certain emotions don't hit like before. Something inside you is already upgrading. And if you stay with me until the end of this message, you will understand exactly what has already ended in your life and what is now preparing to begin. But be careful, because if you disconnect too early, you may miss the clarity your soul has been waiting for. Listen carefully, because now the message goes deeper. There were moments in your life when things did not make sense at all. You try to understand why something ended, why someone left, why opportunities disappeared suddenly, why everything you planned collapsed at the last moment. And in those moments, you thought maybe something went wrong with you. But the truth is very different. Nothing went wrong. Something was being removed. And as the presence of Archangel Michael moves through this message, you must understand this clearly. Not everything that breaks in your life is destruction. Some things break because they are not meant to carry you forward. If they stayed, they would have blocked your next level. That is why certain chapters ended suddenly. Not because you failed, but because your path was being protected. And I need you to understand this deeply. Sometimes divine protection does not feel peaceful. Sometimes it feels like loss. Sometimes it feels like rejection. Sometimes it feels like confusion. But later, when clarity arrives, you realize it was never loss at all. It was redirection. Now listen, there is a pattern in your life that has been repeating for years. You rise a little, then something pulls you back. You feel hope, then something shakes it. You start again, then something interrupts it. And you started believing that this is just how your life works. But that is not your destiny. That is a cycle. And cycles can be broken. And what is happening now is exactly that. A cycle is breaking. Not slowly, not partially, but permanently. And this is why everything feels unstable right now. Because when a cycle breaks, it creates temporary chaos before stability arrives. That chaos is not punishment. That chaos is transition. And most people misread transition as failure. But you are not failing. You are exiting repetition. You are leaving patterns that kept you stuck in emotional loops. Pain, hope, disappointment, restart, pain again. That loop is ending now. And what comes after a broken cycle is something most people never experience. A clean path. No repetition. No emotional traps. No returning to old suffering. But before that clean path stabilizes, you must pass through the in-between phase. The phase where nothing feels stable, but everything is changing. That is where you are right now. And I need you to stay aware. Because during this phase, the mind tries to pull you back into old thinking, old fears, old attachments, old versions of yourself. But if you go back mentally, you delay what is already forming ahead of you. Because your future is not behind you, it is forward. And every time you look back emotionally, you weaken alignment. So this message is here to stabilize you, to remind you that what you are feeling is not confusion. It is construction. Something new is being built in your life. And construction always looks messy before it looks complete. Now hear this carefully. There were things you begged for that did not arrive. And at that time, it hurt deeply. But what you did not realize is this. Some of those things were not aligned with your future identity. If they had come into your life earlier, they would have kept you stuck in a smaller version of yourself. That is why timing matters. And divine timing is never about delay. It is about readiness. You are being prepared for something that requires a stronger version of you, a calmer version, a wiser version, a more grounded version. And everything you went through was building that version. Even the pain, especially the pain, because pain removes illusion. It strips false expectations. It forces clarity. And now clarity is beginning to rise inside you, slowly but surely. And now listen, because this is where the message becomes very important. You are approaching a turning point, not in imagination, but in reality. You will soon start noticing small changes, subtle shifts. Things that once felt heavy will begin to feel lighter. Things that once triggered you will stop affecting you the same way. And that is not coincidence. That is alignment completing itself. Because when a breakthrough is near, the emotional field changes first. Before results change, before money changes, before relationships change, your inner state changes. And that is already happening. Now I want you to understand something deeply. The life you are entering will not feel like your past life. It will not operate on the same emotional patterns. It will not repeat the same cycles. It will not carry the same weight. Because you are not the same person anymore. And that is why old doors had to close. You cannot carry new energy into old environments. They reject each other. And that rejection is what you felt as loss. But it was actually protection. Now, as this message reaches its closing moment, I want you to hold one truth. You are not behind. You are not stuck. You are not forgotten. You are in transition into something stable, aligned, and new. And everything that left your life, left because it could not enter where you are going. So do not chase what exited. Do not mourn what dissolved. Do not question what ended. Because what is forming ahead of you requires your attention forward, not backward. And in part 2, you will understand something even deeper. Why certain painful events in your life were actually unlocking your spiritual strength, and how that strength is now becoming your breakthrough foundation. Listen carefully, because now we are going beyond surface understanding. And as this message continues through the presence of Archangel Michael, there is something you must realize at a deeper level. What you called struggle was never random pain. It was structured transformation. Your life was not falling apart. It was being rearranged. But rearrangement always feels like destruction in the beginning, because the human mind only recognizes stability when it is familiar. So when familiarity breaks, the mind labels it as loss. But in truth, it is redesign. And your entire life has been going through redesign. That is why certain chapters ended suddenly. That is why certain people disappeared without closure. That is why certain paths stopped working no matter how hard you tried. You were not being punished. You were being extracted from repetition. Because repetition is the enemy of evolution. And your spirit was never meant to stay in repetition. Now listen, there is something most people never realize about their life. They are not living random events. They are living cycles, patterns that repeat in different forms. Same emotions, different situations, same lessons, different people. And until the root is broken, the pattern continues. In your life too, there was a hidden emotional cycle running in the background. A cycle of expectation, attachment, disappointment, restart. Again and again. And every time you thought, this time will be different, the same energy repeated itself in a new form. But the purpose was not to hurt you. The purpose was to make you aware. Because awareness is the only thing that breaks cycles. And now something has changed inside you. You are no longer reacting blindly. You are observing. And observation is the first stage of liberation. That is why certain things don't affect you the same way anymore. That is why old emotional hooks are losing power. That is why people who used to control your emotions no longer feel the same authority over your inner world. This is not coincidence. This is cycle interruption. Now understand something very important. Not everything that left your life was meant to hurt you. Some things left because they were tied to your old identity. And your old identity cannot survive your new timeline. Because if it stays, it drags you backward emotionally. So life does something very precise. It removes what is incompatible with your next level. Even if you don't understand it at that time. Even if it feels painful. Even if it feels unfair. Because fairness is not the system here. Alignment is. And alignment always chooses growth over comfort. That is why certain relationships ended. That is why certain opportunities collapsed. That is why certain paths suddenly stopped working. Not because you failed, but because you outgrew the environment that supported your old version. And when growth becomes too large, the old container breaks. Now listen carefully, because this is where most people get confused. Right now you are in what can be called a silent transition phase. Nothing dramatic is happening outside, but everything is shifting inside. Your thoughts are changing. Your emotional responses are changing. Your tolerance levels are changing. Your desires are changing. And this creates a strange feeling. You are no longer who you were, but not fully who you are becoming yet. That in-between space feels unstable, but it is actually the most powerful phase of transformation, because this is where identity dissolves. And when identity dissolves, new reality begins forming. That is why you feel detached from old patterns. That is why old habits feel unnatural. That is why old fears don't grip you the same way anymore. Something inside you is upgrading. And upgrades always come with temporary confusion. But confusion is not failure. Confusion is processing. Now I want you to remember something. There were moments when you thought, this is too much. I can't handle this. Why is this happening to me? But those were not breaking points. They were shaping points. Because pressure does something very specific. It removes what is unstable inside you. Not your strength, but your limitation. And after enough pressure, something permanent forms inside you. Clarity. And clarity cannot be reversed. Once you see patterns clearly, you cannot unsee them. That is why your perspective is changing now. You are seeing things differently not because life changed first, but because you changed first. Even if you don't fully realize it, you are stronger now than before. Not louder strength, not ego strength, but quiet strength. The kind that does not react instantly. The kind that pauses before responding. The kind that observes instead of chasing. That is real transformation. Because emotional control is the highest sign of internal shift. And you are beginning to experience that. This is not something you learned. This is something that formed inside you through experience. Through everything you survived. And now that strength is becoming your foundation for the next phase. But listen, you are still not seeing the full picture yet. Because what you are experiencing internally is only the beginning. There is a deeper level of shift happening that will soon become visible in your external life. And in part 3, you will understand why silence was actually preparation, how unseen alignment was building your future, why timing is now accelerating, and how your breakthrough is starting to take physical form. Listen carefully, because now we are entering a phase that most people completely misunderstand. And as this message continues through the presence of Archangel Michael, there is something you must understand at a deeper level. Silence was never absence. Silence was construction. What you called nothing is happening was actually the most active phase of your transformation. But you could not see it yet, because the deepest work in life never shows immediate results. It works behind the surface, like roots growing underground before a tree rises. And that is exactly what has been happening in your life. There were moments when you felt stuck. Moments when you thought, why is nothing changing? Why am I still here? Why is my life not moving? But in reality, your external world was waiting for internal alignment. Because life does not move forward based on desire alone. It moves forward based on readiness. And readiness is not visible. It is built in silence. That is why certain seasons of your life felt empty. Not because nothing was happening, but because everything was being rearranged internally. Your emotional system was being reset. Your belief system was being rewritten. Your energetic patterns were being cleared. And most importantly, your identity was being rebuilt from the inside. There was a phase where you tried everything. You tried harder. You prayed harder. You hoped harder. You pushed harder. But nothing seemed to respond. And that created confusion inside you. But listen carefully. Sometimes effort does not produce results immediately because the system is not ready to respond yet. It is not rejection. It is timing delay. And timing delay is not punishment. It is alignment protection. Because if certain things had arrived earlier in your life, they would have entered a version of you that was not prepared to handle them. So instead of giving you outcomes, life gave you preparation, even though it did not feel like it at that time. Now something very important has been happening quietly. You have been rebuilding without realizing it. Your reactions have changed. Your patience has increased. Your emotional intensity has stabilized. Your attachment to outcomes has reduced. And this is not small. This is transformation at identity level, because when identity changes, reality must follow. That is law. And this is why you are now starting to feel different internally. Even if nothing outside has fully changed yet, something inside is no longer the same. And that difference is everything. Because external life always lags behind internal shift. Always. So what you feel inside today is what your reality will reflect tomorrow. Now listen carefully, because subtle signs have already started appearing. You may not have fully noticed them, but they are there. Things that used to stress you now feel lighter. Things that used to confuse you now feel predictable. Things that used to hurt you now feel distant. This is not emotional numbness. This is emotional clarity. And clarity means alignment has begun. When alignment begins, life starts reorganizing itself. Opportunities shift. People shift. Paths shift. Not suddenly in chaos, but slowly in direction. And this is what you are entering now. A redirection phase, where life begins moving you without force. Even now, part of you may still feel, but I am not seeing results yet. And that is normal, because physical reality is the slowest layer to change. Mental shift comes first. Emotional shift comes second. External shift comes last. So if you are seeing internal change, external change is already scheduled. It just has not fully manifested yet. And this is where patience becomes important. Not forced patience, but aware patience. Because now you know something deeper. Nothing is stuck. It is sinking. Now I want you to feel this. You are approaching a turning point. Not emotionally, but structurally. Meaning, your life is about to start moving in a different direction without effort. Things will begin aligning in ways you did not plan. Doors you were not expecting will open. Connections you thought were lost will realign. Opportunities you stopped thinking about will reappear in new form. But here is the key. It will not look like your past. Because your past version of success was based on struggle, your new version will be based on alignment. Ease will replace struggle. Flow will replace force. Clarity will replace confusion. And that is the real shift happening now. But listen carefully. Even though things are aligning internally, there is still a deeper layer unfolding that you have not seen yet. Because what is happening now is not just personal change. It is timing acceleration. And in part 4, you will understand why things suddenly start moving fast, how breakthrough enters physical reality, why old cycles cannot return, and how your life begins to visibly shift. Listen carefully, because now the message is moving into a phase where what was invisible starts becoming visible. And as this transmission continues through the presence of Archangel Michael, you must understand something very important. Alignment does not stay hidden forever. At some point, it becomes reality. And that moment is what you are entering now. Until now, everything has been happening inside you. Your thoughts changed. Your emotions changed. Your perception changed. Your patience changed. But external life still felt slow. And that created doubt. But listen carefully. External life is always the last system to update. It is like a reflection. It only shows what has already changed inside. So if your inner world has already shifted, your outer world is now preparing to mirror it. And that mirroring process is what we call breakthrough manifestation. Not imagination, not hope, but actual alignment becoming visible. Now something interesting happens at this stage. After long periods of silence, life does not move slowly anymore. It moves suddenly. Because when alignment completes, delays collapse. And when delays collapse, things that were stuck begin to move all at once. You may notice things that were pending suddenly get resolved. People respond faster. Opportunities reappear. Unexpected clarity arrives. And it may feel like everything is happening suddenly. But it is not sudden. It is delayed energy finally releasing. Like a dam breaking after pressure builds. And that release is what creates acceleration. At this stage, old cycles are losing access to your life. Not temporarily, permanently. Patterns that used to repeat will not repeat in the same way again. Situations that used to trap you will no longer have the same power. Emotional loops that used to control you are now breaking. And this is not because the world changed. It is because you changed your frequency. And when frequency changes, old experiences cannot match it anymore. They disconnect. Naturally. No fight needed. No effort required. Just mismatch. And mismatch is what creates separation. Now you may notice something subtle. People around you may start behaving differently. Some may return. Some may distance themselves. Some may suddenly show respect. Some may unexpectedly disappear. And this is not random behavior. This is energetic repositioning. Because when your internal alignment changes, your external environment reacts. People respond to your new frequency, not your past identity. And this is why confusion often appears in this phase. Because you are still remembering who you were, while others are responding to who you are becoming. There will be a moment very soon in your life when something will happen that confirms everything, not emotionally, but physically. A result, a message, a shift, a door opening, a situation resolving, something that cannot be ignored. And in that moment, you will realize something has actually changed. That is the point where belief becomes knowing. And once knowing arrives, doubt loses its place completely. Because experience is stronger than fear. And you are moving toward experience now. Even if you still think you are the same, you are not. Because your reactions are different now. Your awareness is different now. Your emotional depth is different now. Your tolerance is different now. And that means your identity has already shifted. And identity is what determines reality. Not desire, not pressure, not struggle. Identity. And yours is already transitioning into a stronger version. A calmer version. A more stable version. A more aligned version. But listen, even though breakthrough is beginning to show, there is still one final stage left that most people never understand. Because once alignment becomes reality, the next step is stabilization of abundance and protection. And in the final part of this message, you will understand why this breakthrough cannot be reversed, how protection surrounds your new phase, and how your life is entering a completely new timeline. Listen carefully, because this is the final transmission of this entire message. And as this energy flows through the presence of Archangel Michael, you must understand one final truth that ties everything together. Nothing in your life was ever meaningless. Not a single delay, not a single loss, not a single ending, not a single silent night. Everything had direction. Everything had purpose. Everything had timing. And now, you are standing at the final threshold of understanding. This is the moment where confusion stops being your story, and clarity begins to take over completely. Because what you are entering now is not another cycle. It is the exit of all cycles. You are not looping anymore. You are leaving the loop system entirely. And that is why your inner world has been changing so deeply. Even without your permission, something inside you has been rewriting itself. Your reactions are different now. Your emotional triggers are weaker now. Your attachment to the past is fading now. Your tolerance for old patterns is disappearing now. And this is not random. This is transformation completing itself. Now listen carefully. There is a reason your past did not work out the way you planned. It was not rejection. It was redirection away from instability. Because what you were asking for in the past was connected to a version of you that was still learning. And life does not give permanent outcomes to temporary identity. It waits. It shapes you. It strengthens you. And only then, it reveals the real path. That is what is happening now. You are not being tested anymore. You are being positioned. And positioning always comes before visible breakthrough. But here is what most people miss. Breakthrough does not start outside. It starts internally. A shift in identity. A shift in emotional response. A shift in perception. And once that shift stabilizes, external reality has no choice but to follow. And you are already in that phase. Listen carefully, because now we complete the final layer of this message. And as this energy continues through the presence of Archangel Michael, you must understand something very clearly. What is coming into your life now is not temporary. It is not emotional. It is not random. It is structured alignment becoming physical reality. And that is why everything inside you has been changing first. Because life always updates internally before it reflects externally. Now listen, there is a reason certain people could not stay in your life. It was not punishment. It was protection from repetition. Because not everyone in your past was aligned with your future. Some people were connected to your old emotional cycles. And those cycles had to break for your new timeline to begin. That is why certain connections faded. That is why certain bonds collapsed. That is why certain endings felt sudden. But nothing was sudden. It was scheduled separation. Because anything that cannot evolve with you must exit before your elevation. And now you are entering elevation. Not emotional elevation only, but life structure elevation. Meaning, your environment is going to change. Your opportunities are going to change. Your emotional baseline is going to change. Your stability is going to change. Slowly, but permanently. Now listen carefully. You will start noticing something unusual in the coming days. Things that were once difficult will become easier. Things that were blocked will begin opening. Things that were confusing will become clear. And things that felt delayed will suddenly start moving. Not because life changed randomly, but because your alignment stabilized. And when alignment stabilizes, flow begins. Now I want you to understand something deeply. You were never behind in life. You were being prepared for timing that was not ready for your old version. Because if you had received certain things earlier, you would not have been able to sustain them. That is why delays existed. Not to deny you, but to develop you. And now development has reached a new stage. You are no longer in preparation mode. You are in activation mode. And activation always produces visible change. Now listen, there is a shift happening around you that you may not fully understand yet, but you can feel it. A lightness, a clarity, a detachment from old pain, a reduction in emotional confusion. And this is not emotional numbness. This is emotional completion, because what used to hurt you is no longer controlling your state. And that is freedom. Real freedom is not external. It is internal independence from past pain. And you are entering that state now. Now understand this final truth. Nothing that is meant for you can miss you. Nothing that is aligned with you can bypass you. Nothing that is destined for you can be taken away permanently. Because destiny is not fragile. It is protected, and you are protected with it. That is why even when things fell apart, you did not. That is why even when life broke, you remained. That is why even when you were alone, you were still being guided. And now that guidance is becoming visible in your reality. Slowly, but clearly. Now listen, you are not going back to your old life. That version of you is complete. And what is beginning now is a new cycle of experience. A cycle without repetition of old pain. A cycle without emotional traps. A cycle without repeated endings. A cycle of stability, clarity, and alignment. And you will begin to feel it in small ways first. Peace where there was pressure. Calm where there was confusion. Direction where there was doubt. Strength where there was exhaustion. And slowly, your outer world will begin reflecting your inner shift. Now before this message ends, I want you to hold this truth firmly. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not stuck. You are transitioning into alignment that was already designed for you. And what is coming next will confirm everything I have told you in this message. Because life does not lie. It only reveals. And your revelation is near. If this message reached your heart, don't ignore it. Like this video if you are ready for your breakthrough. Comment 111 or Amen to accept this alignment and confirm your shift. Share this video with someone who is going through silence and needs hope right now. And subscribe to the channel because more powerful divine messages like this are coming soon. You are not here by accident. You are here because something in your life has already started changing. And this is just the beginning.